So the UK just dropped a set of fresh immigration updates, and they are not small. From now on, migrants will need to pass English at A-level standards to work in the UK. Visa costs are rising, proof of funds for international students have increased, and Botswana, one of 3 African countries that could enter the UK visa-free, now need a visa to visit the UK. Let's unpack what this new immigration update actually means and who it affects. So starting from January 8, 2026, anyone applying for a new UK work visa like the skilled worker visa, high potential individual, or scale-up route will need to prove they can speak English at A-level standard, also known as the B2. It's higher than the old B1 test that most people did before now. This level of English goes beyond the basic communication that you just need for day-to-day life. You're expected to hold deep conversations, understand detailed reports, and write essays like a high school graduate, which is not a problem for most Nigerians because we are taught in English, and most Nigerian graduates do not have a problem passing A-level English. This rule mainly affects new arrivals applying from outside the UK and people switching visas. For example, someone on a skilled worker visa switching to a scale-up visa. But if you already have a work visa and you're just extending it, you don't need to worry. You will still be judged on your old B1 requirement. If you are coming to the UK as a student, this new rule does not affect you. It only comes in play when your adult dependents are later applying for settlement when it's time for ILRO. So they may have to take the B2 test, which is equivalent to A-level. Before, this would have been the B1 test, which is equivalent to GCSE. I remember taking my own B1 test when I was applying for my UK ILRO. The option was either to do the test or ask my uni to send an official transcript and a letter that I took my courses in English. I chose to do the test because it was more straightforward than asking my uni for anything. The B1 test was so easy and I just felt, they wasted my time because the time it took me to get to the center was way more than the time it took me to do the exam because it was moi. But what stood out to me that day was that some persons that came to take that same exam that I talked to could barely speak English, mostly because their country's official language was not English, unlike we have in Nigeria where English is our lingua franca. So I kind of get why the government wants to fix that, but raising it to A-level standard, that's now like an academic filter. On paper, it looks like an effort to attract highly skilled migrants and improve integration. But when you look closer, it feels more like politics than policy because the timing is not innocent. The Reform Party is becoming more popular. Tories have lost lots of MPs to the Reform Party, and the Labour government is under pressure to prove they can control immigration without looking harsh. So this is really looking like a political balancing act. Labour wants to look tough, sound fair, and still win votes. But migrants will have to be the collateral. For Nigerians who already speak English fluently, this isn't about belonging or integration anymore. It's more like raising the bar higher so fewer people can get in. And the irony is that many British citizens themselves will struggle to pass A-level English tests. We all know that integration is not built through tests. You can pass your test in flying colors and still struggle to integrate. We know that community, paying taxes, working, and being a part of daily life is how you can integrate quickly. Because with this language, it grows from participation. So while this new rule may look like an upgrade, it quietly sends another message. The UK is closing the door just a little tighter, but dressing it up as quality control. What do you think about these changes? Please share all your thoughts about it in the comments. Don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you. According to UKCRSA, starting from November 2025, the UK is increasing the amount of money students must show as proof of funds before they can get their student visas. If you're studying in London, it has gone from £1,483 per month to £1,529 per month. And if you're studying outside London, it has gone from £1,136 per month to £1,171 per month. It might not sound like much when you say it, but when you calculate it for a full 9-month academic year, that's about £13,761 if you're studying in London and £10,539 if you're studying outside of London. You will need to prove that that full amount has been sitting in your account for at least 28 straight days before you apply for your visa. For post-study work visa, under the new update from January 2027, international students will now have only 18 months instead of 2 full years to find a graduate level job after completing their studies. This means you now have 6 months less to figure out your next move, to apply for jobs, get sponsorship, or switch to another visa. So for many Nigerians or Africans studying in the UK, this is a big deal, because the job market is already competitive and not all employers are willing to sponsor. By the way, they also increase sponsorship fees, so it's less attractive to employers to even sponsor people. So the UK government says this change will encourage quicker integration into the workforce, but in reality, it's going to put more pressure on graduates who are already struggling to find a job because of limited opportunities and expensive living costs. So it's like the UK is using style to tell people that we don't want you to stay here for too long after you study. Pack your kaya and go. But this is still better than what they did before in 2012, I think, where they took out the full post-study visa. And after you finish your course, you leave. But now you still have 18 months. And what I find interesting about these updates is that while the UK is tightening the rules for most people, especially students and workers coming through regular routes, is also opening doors wider for another group. For example, the high potential individual route is being expanded. The number of people who can come through that route is doubling. So before it used to be 2,000, now they increased it to 4,000. And the max, I think, is 8,000 now. And it's reserved for graduates from the top 100 universities in the world. I don't think Uniben or Unilag will make that list. They're also enhancing the global talent route because they want the best of the best around the world. They want skilled professionals like researchers, architects, film creatives, and designers to get in. Best of the best from all over the world to be in the UK. So while the ordinary migrants are being asked to prove higher English levels, show more funds, and face tighter deadlines, the UK is still rolling out the red carpet for what it calls highly skilled global talent. So as you can see, the UK is not entirely shutting the door, it's just making it tighter, and it's just been very picky. They don't know how to say don't come, or go away. So the message is simple. If you bring global prestige or fill a high demand gap, you're most welcome. But if you're coming to study or build from scratch, prepare for more hoops to jump through. And it's not just students and workers feeling the squeeze. From now on, Botswana nationals will need a visa to visit the UK, something they didn't need before. Botswana was one of just 3 African countries whose citizens could enter the UK visa-free for short stays. The UK says they are changing this decision because it comes after an increase in visitors from Botswana claiming asylum once they arrive. So now they have to join the queue like the rest of us and apply for a visa. It has become harder for immigrants, but it's not impossible. If you're planning to come to the UK, you need to really sit down and do your calculations. Tell yourself the truth. Can you make it? Is it worth it? For many people, these updates mean it's time to use your tongue to count your teeth. For some, that may mean another country or even Jackpala back home. Whatever your plans are, I wish you all the best, and we'll keep our eyes on these policies as they change. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.